Welcome to our deep dive into the world of arcade games. These flashing, buzzing behemoths of entertainment sucked up countless quarters and hours of our lives. From the simplistic joys of Pong to the button-mashing frenzy of Street Fighter, we're gonna unearth the history of these legendary machines. Today we're exploring the history and some really cool facts about these iconic machines. Get ready to travel back in time, because we're about to enter the digital domain of joysticks, pixels, and 8-bit soundtracks. You think arcade games started with Pac-Man? Ha! Think earlier, way earlier. The roots of arcade gaming stretch back much further than the 1980s. The early 20th century, in fact. This was a time when amusement parks were the ultimate entertainment hubs. Back then, amusement parks were the place to be, and that's where the seeds of arcade gaming were sown. These parks were bustling with energy, filled with people seeking thrills and fun. Games of skill, chance, and strength tested your mettle. These games were the main attractions, drawing crowds eager to prove their prowess. We're talking about those rigged carnival games, the ones your grandpa probably blew his allowance on. They were simple, yet captivating, offering a mix of challenge and excitement. But hey, they paved the way. These early games laid the foundation for what would become a global phenomenon. Then came the penny arcades. These were small, coin-operated machines that offered a variety of games and amusements. Simple mechanical games, often just elaborate coin-operated contraptions. They were the next step in the evolution of arcade gaming. But they were the proto-arcades, the missing link between carnival games and the digital dinosaurs we're here for. These early machines set the stage for the explosion of arcade gaming that would come decades later, leading us to the golden age of video arcades. 1931, the year everyone thought the world was ending because the Great Depression was in full swing. But amidst the chaos, something magical happened. David Gottlieb unleashes Baffleball upon an unsuspecting world. This pinball-esque game, where you had to sink a ball into a hole, was a sensation. It wasn't about flashing lights or fancy graphics. It was pure, simple, addictive gameplay. Baffleball was a sign of things to come. A glimpse into a future where games would rule the world. Well, maybe not the whole world, but definitely the arcades. The 1930s saw the rise of a new challenger, pinball. No, not the Windows XP kind. These were the real deal, with bells, lights, and more importantly, flippers. Pinball was more than just a game. It was an experience. The satisfying thunk of the flippers, the clatter of the ball hitting bumpers, the flashing lights announcing your high score, pure magic. Pinball machines became a staple in arcades, paving the way for the video game revolution that was just around the corner. 1978, disco was dying and bell-bottoms were out of style, but something revolutionary was brewing in the arcades. Something that would change gaming forever. Enter Space Invaders. This simple yet addictive game, with its blocky aliens and iconic sound effects, took the world by storm. Suddenly, everyone was blasting away at pixelated invaders, their pockets full of quarters and their hearts full of determination. Space Invaders wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon. It was the game that launched 1,000 arcades, the game that made video games cool. The 1980s. The decade of big hair, shoulder pads, and even bigger arcade games. This was the golden age, a time when arcades were packed with teenagers and kids, all vying for high scores and bragging rights. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga, Miss Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Frogger, Centipede, the list goes on and on. Each game was a masterpiece in its own right, with its own unique gameplay, characters, and music. It was a time of fierce competition, innovation, and pure, unadulterated fun. The late 1980s saw the rise of a new breed of arcade game, the fighting game. Games like Street Fighter II, Mortal Kombat, and Fatal Fury took the arcade world by storm, pitting players against each other in brutal hand-to-hand combat. These games were all about skill, timing, and memorizing those all-important special move combinations. Who could forget the first time they pulled off Ryu's Hadouken or Scorpion's Spear? Fighting games brought a whole new level of competition to the arcades, turning casual gamers into button-mashing warriors. The 1990s, the decade that brought us grunge music, the internet, and the tragic decline of the arcade. Home consoles were getting more powerful, offering arcade-quality graphics and gameplay from the comfort of your living room. Arcades, once the undisputed kings of gaming, were struggling to compete. Many were forced to close their doors, their once crowded spaces now silent and empty. It was the end of an era, a sad but inevitable chapter in the history of gaming. Second wind, the arcade strikes back. The 2010s saw a resurgence of interest in arcade games, thanks in part to the rise of nostalgia culture. Arcade bars, where you could relive your childhood gaming glories over a pint of beer, began popping up in cities around the world. Suddenly, it was cool to be seen clutching a joystick and battling it out on a classic arcade cabinet again. This retro revival proved that the love for arcade games never truly died. It was just waiting for the right moment to make a comeback. The holy grails of gaming. Some arcade games are more than just games, they're collector's items, worth more than their weight in gold. These machines are not just relics of the past, they are pieces of history that tell the story of gaming's evolution. From the early days of simple pixelated graphics to the complex, immersive experiences we have today, these cabinets have seen it all. Collectors scour the globe, attending auctions, visiting old arcades, and networking with other enthusiasts to find these rare treasures. These rare and valuable cabinets are the holy grails for gaming enthusiasts, and owning one is a badge of honor. It's not just about the game itself, but the nostalgia and the memories associated with it. For many, these cabinets represent a simpler time, a time when gaming was a communal experience, shared with friends and strangers alike in the dimly lit corners of arcades. Take, for example, the Nintendo PlayStation prototype, a legendary piece of gaming history that sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. This prototype represents a pivotal moment in gaming history, a collaboration between two giants of the industry that never came to fruition. Its rarity and the story behind it make it a coveted item for collectors. Or how about a pristine condition cabinet of Polybius, the mythical arcade game that's shrouded in urban legend? The stories surrounding Polybius are as intriguing as the game itself, with tales of mysterious government experiments and players experiencing strange side effects. Whether the legends are true or not, the allure of owning such a mysterious piece of gaming history is undeniable. These rare gems are a testament to the enduring legacy of arcade games. They remind us of the joy and excitement of discovering a new game, the thrill of achieving a high score, and the sense of community that arcades fostered. In a world where gaming is increasingly digital and solitary, these cabinets stand as a reminder of the roots of gaming culture and the timeless appeal of arcade games. Game on, the future of arcades. So, what does the future hold for arcade games? With the rapid advancement of technology, arcades are evolving in ways we could have never imagined. Virtual reality, augmented reality, and immersive experiences are becoming the new norm. These innovations are transforming the traditional arcade into a futuristic playground where the boundaries between the real and virtual worlds blur. While they may never regain their former glory, they'll always hold a special place in our hearts. The nostalgia of classic arcade games, the pixelated graphics, and the simple yet addictive gameplay remind us of a time when life was simpler. These vintage games are not just relics of the past, they are a testament to the creativity and innovation of their time. Arcades offer a social experience that you can't get from playing at home. The thrill of competition, the joy of discovery, and the excitement of playing alongside friends and strangers alike create a unique atmosphere. It's a place where people of all ages can come together, share their love for games, and create lasting memories. The camaraderie of sharing a love for these classic games, that's something that will never go out of style. Whether it's the high fives after a victorious game or the shared laughter over a funny moment, arcades bring people together in a way that few other activities can. It's this sense of community and connection that keeps the spirit of arcades alive. Whether it's in arcades, bars, or even our own homes, the appeal of arcade games remains strong. Home arcade setups are becoming increasingly popular, allowing people to bring the arcade experience into their living rooms. Bars and entertainment venues are also incorporating arcade games to attract a diverse crowd and create a fun, interactive environment. Arcade games will continue to entertain and inspire us for generations to come. From the youngest children experiencing the magic of their first game, to adults reliving their childhood memories, arcades have a timeless appeal. As long as there are people who love games, the spirit of the arcade will live on, evolving and adapting to the times while preserving the joy and excitement that make them so special. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history of arcade games. From their humble beginnings to their triumphant return, we've seen how these iconic machines have shaped gaming culture. We've explored their origins, their evolution, and their enduring legacy. But most importantly, we've relived the joy, the excitement, and the sheer fun of pumping quarters into a cabinet and losing ourselves in the world of the game. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more awesome content.